What do you think?
It's about time we leave this boat.
For show.
Lady!
Windy.
Flying!
Over the past few episodes, we've been making our way down the west coast of Florida. Last time we left St. Petersburg and landed here in Venice. After charging up our batteries at a marina, we moved back onto the hook, a little over 100 feet away from the dock, right smack in the middle of the pass.
Woo.
The next morning, we had swung 180 degrees from the direction in which we had set the anchor, so Kirk wanted to jump in and check on it.
There's a giant crab trap.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that where we're on?
No, but the chain's next to it. So the anchor is reversed because the tide changed and we set it going that way. I mean, it's in the ground a little bit, but it definitely looks like it's dragging because we've come back about 40 feet. We're right in the middle of the tide, so it should start calming down and then we'll switch around and it'll be the right way again.
So hopefully we'll really just be fine for the next 18 hours?
Yeah.
All right. The following day, we scooted out of Venice Pass and into the Gulf for a 30 nautical mile sail south to Cayo Costa.
There's 15, 16.
Do you want to put them on the other side?
No, I think we need to pull them in.
Previously, we talked about how we'd been struggling to generate enough power with just the 160 watts of solar we mounted on the Dodger. But this was no surprise, really. We had another 260 watts sitting in the quarter berth, but thanks to our Bimini debacle in Mobile, we had nowhere to mount them. So if we wanted any chance of staying out of the marina for a little while, our only option was to temporarily lash them to the deck. This was the first time we left them out there while sailing, and even though we tied them down well, they were especially vulnerable with the wind picking up, so Lauren went forward to bring them below.
It's windy.
We're flying!
Ew. Getting the camera sprayed. 8.5 knots.
No, it's 8.6 for a second. There it is.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Crab trap right in the channel. Ooh, 8.7. After dropping our sails and firing up the engine, we entered a narrow channel to get into an anchorage at Cayo Costa, an island which you can only get to by boat, and much of which is designated as a state park. Kirk, what's going on?
We are motoring about 100 feet from shore to stay in 9 foot of water because it's shallower over there. And we are going to find an anchorage with 20 knots of wind blowing right now, which is kind of wild. Is that a question, or you're telling me what you feel like?
You can end it in any punctuation you would like.
Got it.
I think probably a half a glass of wine would pass out.
All this solar we have scattered all over the deck. Just solar panels everywhere. It is very windy. We had a beautiful sail today. We were sailing downwind with following seas all morning, and then we turned upwind to go into Grand Boca Pass, I think the name of it was. What's that? Boca Grande Pass. And we turned upwind and realized we had like 16 knots of wind. We were just going downwind, so it felt like nothing. But the wind was actually also picking up in the afternoon, and we've been seeing gusts of 20 through here. A bunch of people have been having issues anchoring with their jibs unfurling on them, and there's been all sorts of drama around the anchorage. Luckily, we set the hook and it dug in pretty hard, and we haven't moved at all, so I'm hoping, despite there being a 90-degree wind shift tonight and it picking up even more, I'm hoping that we're gonna sleep pretty comfortably. We're pretty well spaced out in here. We've got a lot of room in case anything does happen, and we're gonna be fairly well protected when the wind changes direction. So I really need some sleep. I only got about 2 hours last night. Boat life.
Another boater just dinghied over to our boat. There's a bilge alarm, maybe, or a CO2 alarm, or some sort of alarm going off on the boat just past the two of our boats. And he came over and he asked Kirk if he wanted to ride over with him in the dinghy to see what's going on. The people aren't there. Their dinghy is gone. They're most likely just at the beach, but who knows?
It was an anchor alarm app on his iPhone that he had plugged into his stereo, so it made it really loud. So I want to ask him what anchor alarm app.
It's a nice idea, yeah. For sure.
So we've been anchored out in Cayo Costa for the last 2 nights. We saw a youngish couple come into the anchorage and thought we'd go over and introduce ourselves because we don't see a whole lot of younger people out sailing. And just so happens they are Annie and Phillip from Have Wind Will Travel. It's a website that Annie started, and they're avid kiteboarders. So this morning they came over and invited us to head over to the beach with them. So we're gonna go have a picnic lunch, and today we play. What do you think?
It's about time we leave this boat.
For show.
We've been stuck in the boat for... When was the last time we got on land? It was when I went for a run like 3 nights ago.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, we were crammed in here all yesterday, and it was a beautiful day outside. Couldn't even miss it though. Neither of us had a spare second to think about it. So, yeah, it's Saturday.
On the beach. All right, they're loading up. They're hopping in their dinghy. Ah, shit. Let's go do it.
Lady! Yes!
This is gonna be by far the longest dinghy ride we've done. Ever.
First time in the Gulf for me.
For me too.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you've been in the water before.
Yeah, in the Venice Pass.
Yeah.
That was it.
Checking the boat.
Yeah. What are we doing? Hunting. Fish. Yeah. Oh wow. Makes me so happy every time I look at this. 16.8 amps right now, Bird.
Woo! Hot giggity.
When designing our electrical system, I took an inventory of everything on the boat that would draw power. I created an energy audit and battery bank sizing tool that I used to roughly calculate our daily electrical consumption and estimated the worst case scenario. With this information, I knew that we could fit just enough solar on our Dodger and Bimini to meet our daily needs. And it was awesome knowing that once we could mount all of these panels permanently, we'd be fully self-sufficient electrically.
What are we gonna do with all this power?
We're gonna throw a light party.
Can we turn on every light in the cabin?
Yeah.
Apologies for our GoPro right here. For some reason, it decided to freeze the video, but keep recording audio. Yesterday we hung out with Annie and Phillip. This morning, Annie rode over right as I was opening the forward hatch and said, "Hey, still training in 30 minutes.
And it'll hold.
What's happening up here?
Out, or do I
Yeah,
hold
hold
it?
those. Hold the weight of those. I'll hold you to make sure nothing happens, but slowly, let your feet up. You're just gonna come up. That's it. But you did it. You went upside down. That's cool. Isn't that fun? She's like, I don't trust it. I'm not gonna let go.
We hope you guys like this one. We wanted to thank Annie and Phillip for the primers on kiteboarding and aerial silks, and for giving us an excuse to get out and have some fun. We want to talk to you guys about work.
Are you self-employed? Are you retired? Did you win the lottery?
And money.
How do you manage rental properties while living on a sailboat?
Did we have debt?
What's our budget for sailing?
Wait, you forgot to tell us what work you do.
How much of that coffee is in our budget?